Hello class, welcome to 8.7, Solve Proportion and Similar Figure Applications. In this section, we're only going to focus on solve proportion. Okay? We will not look at similar figure. I just left it there because that's how the title looks in your OpenStax. But then we're going to be focusing on proportions. So the definition here says, a proportion is an equation of the form A over B equals C over D. And the proportion is read as A is to B as C is to D. You've heard this before, maybe, right? As A is to B, C is to D. But what it really means is you are setting two fractions equal to each other. Okay, these two fractions will look different. It's not the same number. It's not like, say, 2 over 3 equals 2 over 3. You know very clearly these are exactly the same. But what this means is, this simply means that both sides are the same. Well, here, the proportion, in a proportion, you could have two different fractions, okay? Let's say two different fractions. We're saying, well, these two are the same, okay? So they look different. How are they the same? Well, there are many ways to look at this, okay? One is that you could simply reduce this, right? Both are divisible by 4. So divide by 4, you get 8 divided by 4 is 2. 8 divided by 4 is 3. So it comes out as 2 over 3. And so both sides are the same, right? That's one way to show that both these fractions are actually equal to each other. And the other way is, let me write it out here, 2 over 3 equals 8 over 12. What you could do is we do something called cross multiplication. Okay? Don't confuse this with cross cancelling. Cross cancelling is cancelling off, right? And cross cancel happens only when you have a multiplication between them. Here you have an equals between them, and this is called cross multiplication. When I show that, you can see that there's an x that is formed that reminds you that it's cross multiplication. So what this tells us is, if you did 2 times 12 equals 8 times 3, I'm cross multiplying the 2 up here with the 12 down here, and the 8 up there with the 3 down here, right? So this would be 24 equals 24, right? If the proportion is true, cross multiplication will verify that. Okay? So I'll say this is used to verify if a proportion is true. Let me also write the word for this. It's cross multiplication. Now you see that you could simplify one side and show it's equal to the other side, or you could cross multiply to show that both sides are the same, right? They're equivalent in the way we do it, but I am going to use the cross multiplication technique for this section. Here we go. Now here is a problem where they're giving us a proportion, okay? And when they state like this, it means that you're free to assume that this proportion is true. They want us to find x. Okay, so I would say since the proportion is true, it implies the cross multiplication is acceptable, right? So I'll just say x over 56 equals 7 over 8, and I will put the cross multiplication symbols there, right? Now that will help us to multiply them across. So we have x times 8 equals 7 times 56, right? Now you need to get x by itself. So one more step, divide by 8 on both sides. So this actually helps us to cross cancel more quickly, right? So you are able to do the dividing by 8 even before you multiply the 7 and the 56, because it's multiplication that's going on, right? So you really don't have to worry about multiplying them first. So here, 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 7 is 56. So 7 times 7, 49. So we found x equals 49 by cross multiplying, right? In this case, you cannot reduce one side to show it's equal to the other because you are actually dealing with a missing variable. So the missing information needs to be figured out, and cross multiplication works like a charm. Now, alternately, I'll also give you method 2. Okay. Method 2 is the traditional way we've been handling equations, right? You're seeing this in light of proportion, but the traditional way to handle the equation was, let's get x by itself. So the only way to do that is multiply both sides by 56 so that you can cancel off the 56, right? That's exactly what we're doing here, just that it's coming through cross multiplication, okay? Because if I say it's a different method, it has to still give us the same answer. So on the left side, we have x, and on the right side, we have 7 times 7, 49. So you are free to use this style of solving as well. But as I mentioned, for the sake of this lecture here, I will be doing cross multiplication. Okay. So here again, true proportion implies 49 over 63 is z over 9. Let's cross multiply it. Okay, so 49 times 9 equals 63 times z. Let me get z by itself by dividing both sides by 63. 9 times 1 is 9, 9 times 7 is 63. But you know that this 7 can go further against the 49. Okay. So we now have, after the cross cancelling, we cross multiplied, and then we also ended up cross cancelling on one side. So that's going to be 7 equals z. About the answer. Okay. Let's also do a check on this one. So 49 over 63 equals 7 over 9, right? So we're checking if this is true. So again, you can check by cross multiplying, okay? But let's also see if we can check this by finding anything that's common to divide. Do we have anything that's common to divide? Yeah, so let me bring this down here. So 49 can be split up as 7 times 7. 63 can be split up as 7 times 9, okay? I'm simplifying the fraction. So the 7's cancel off. So you get 7 over 9 equals 7 over 9, right? So this is certainly another way to check it, by reducing one side to see if it matches with the other side. Cross multiplying would also work in check. Okay, let's look at this problem. Well, this is a little more complicated than the other. You can certainly handle this. Okay. So again, this problem can be approached by multiplying both sides by the LCD and clearing it off, right? Or we could still see this as a proportion. One fraction equals another fraction, and we could do cross multiplication. So I have 15 times, remember, because we have the m plus 90, then plus there, I want to use the parentheses to group them. I don't want to just put the dot symbol. And this side is 25 times m plus 30. Okay. And then it's time to distribute. Okay. So we have 15m plus 1350 equals 25m plus 750. Collect all the like terms. I'm going to collect my m's on the right, because that will give me a positive m. 1350 equals, that will be 10m plus 750. Then subtract 750 on both sides. Okay, So that gives us 600 equals 10m. One last step, divide the 10 on both sides. And that gives us m equals 60. Okay. Perform the check. So 60 for the m, right, plus 90 over 25. Is that the same as 60 plus 30 over 15? Okay. That's 150 over 25 equals, question mark, 90 over 15. Well, I'm just trying to divide them out. 150 over 25 gives me 6. 90 over 15 gives me 6. Statement is true. Okay. So it's a very simple topic. Just cross multiply and solve for the given variable or the missing variable. How do we see this in real life? So let's look at this question. Pediatricians prescribe 5 milliliters of acetaminophen for every 25 pounds of a child's weight. How many milliliters of acetaminophen will the doctor prescribe for Jocelyn, who weighs 45 pounds? Okay. So here, we are not handed down a proportion, but we can figure out the proportion by looking at this question. Okay. So remember, proportion is A is to B as C is to D, right? Remember that. So to kind of, let me write it out here. A is to B as C is to D, right? Think of that language and then we'll come back and translate it here, okay? So I will say 5 milliliters is to, meaning to every 25 pounds, as how many milliliters is to the child that weighs 45 pounds, right? This is one way to kind of figure out how this proportion is handled. But you see that it has two categories, right? The milliliters and the pounds. Let me put this up as a fraction. So 5 milliliters over 25 pounds is how many milliliters to 45 for every 45 pounds. So instead of the question mark, let me just give it a variable. Let's go for a familiar x. Okay. Now, for the sake of calculation, I'm going to drop the ml and the pounds. So let's just say 5 over 25 equals x over 45. Okay. All right, you've got a proportion right here. So cross multiply. 5 times 45 equals 25 times x. Divide both sides by 25. And cross cancel on the left side, within the left side. So 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 5. So all these calculations leave us with 9 equals x. Because it's a word problem, please come back and interpret this, okay? So I will say the doctor will prescribe 9 milliliters, ml, of acetaminophen for Jocelyn. Okay. So although your mathematical answer comes out to be 9, because it's a word problem, you have to interpret this as 9 ml. Okay. Let's look at this next problem. A new energy drink advertises 106 calories for 8 ounces. How many calories are in 12 ounces of the drink? Okay. Again, you could think of A is to B as C is to D style. Say 106 calories is for 8 ounces. How many calories for 12 ounces? Okay. So just kind of skipping that part. So I will go to 106 calories for 8 ounces equals how many calories? How many is what is missing, right? I'm going to call it x. So x calories for 12 ounces. Okay. Now, for calculation purposes, let's drop all the units. You know, when you finally find the answer, you have to attach calories to it because that's what is missing. Cross multiply. 106 times 12 equals 8 times x. Divide by 8, divide by 8. Okay. So now you can cross cancel. Okay. Now, because it's calories, right? You could actually give the answer. If it comes out as decimals, you will keep it as decimals and give the answer that way. But let's see if we can cross cancel this. If you're using your calculator, multiply it all out. I will leave that part to you. Okay. So 4 works for 8 and 12. 4 times 2, 2 is 8. 4 times 3. So 106 and 2 will cancel each other, right? So that will be 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 5 and 3, 53. And then multiply these two, 53 and 3. That gives you 159. Good, we didn't get any decimal answer here. So that's your answer, but please come back and interpret your answer. So we'll say, okay, so we'll just say there will be 159 calories in 12 ounces of the drink. Again, the key word is 159 with the calories. All right, I hope you found this section enjoyable. I'll see you in the next video.